When I saw you here last night, we told you about a man who was killed in Northwest D.C. after a driver ran into him and then took off. Well, tonight, we know he was that man there, a doctor. And police say he was hit and killed by his own car after someone stole it from him. Just heartbreaking. Thank you for being here with us. I'm Lorenzo Hall. This all happened in Adams Morgan, that neighborhood, at 18th in Florida. Our John Henry is there live right now with new reporting and new video of the people police are searching for tonight. And John, I can't even imagine what his friends and family are feeling tonight.
This right here, this news anchor in the suit, man. He's one news anchor that shows, compassion for victims, even if they're not killed by cops. He's one of the few ones that has seems to have a heart. I've been on this block right here. Right here. I used to go to this club right here called the Common Share back in the day. Anybody from DC knows that. The Common Share. Downstairs, then the upstairs with the pool rooms. Crowded. Like little small hole in the wall place. They buy pitchers of beer. We used to they play reggae music and stuff like that. And all types, little hip hop, reggae, different things like that. Yeah, Adams Morgan, that was my spot back in the 2000s, man. It was getting sketchy about the time where I kind of aged out of going to Adams Morgan, like around the late 2000s. It was getting kind of sketchy there. But I can just imagine what it's like now.
And John, I can't even imagine what his friends and family are feeling tonight.
Yeah, friends of Dr. Rakesh Patel are still trying to come to grips with what happened at this intersection here in Adams Morgan. Well, tonight, police made an important announcement regarding this case. They now have video of his possible killers. The staff at MedStar Washington is heartbroken. Their co-worker, 33-year-old Dr. Rakesh Patel of Silver Spring, was killed Monday in D.C.'s Adams Morgan neighborhood. D.C. police say a person got into Patel's unoccupied Mercedes E350 around 8:30 p.m. on Vernon Street, just feet away from the busy intersection of Florida U and 18th Streets.
Man. These are crimes of opportunity. The guy who did this didn't leave the house thinking about doing this. He probably didn't leave the house saying, I'm going to go take somebody's car. You have to understand, rideshare in DC is a big thing. Rideshare drivers getting it. It's like a huge thing in DC. Like a lot of rideshare drivers like to pull up, leave their car running, hop out, deliver the food, or put the food on the porch, or put the food, or run up into the apartment building and, stand in the foyer and deliver the food to the person and go back to their car and zoom off. You can't do that in DC. You cannot leave your car running in DC. The Sunman in DC, it's crazy to honestly, like, if one of them, they'll hop in your car and just drive off. These are not like premeditated things. It's just like, some guy just standing there or just some guy walking down the street. Oh, snap. He's just going to hop in your car and delete and take off. And it happens so much that they had to put a warning out. They had to alert tell the people in DC stop doing that because it happens so much there. Now, you guys can get in the chat and tell me what that says about the vibes in the city or the nature of the Sun Man there. But yeah, they just opportunistic, man. I don't even know if you call that opportunistic. If you leave your car running, then somebody's going to jump in and drive off. It's just what it is.
D.C. police say a person got into Patel's unoccupied Mercedes E350 around 8:30 p.m. on Vernon Street, just feet away from the busy intersection of Florida U and 18th Streets. Patel apparently tried to stop the thief from taking his vehicle, but police say the suspect got away, striking Patel in the process. He would later die unseen. One of Patel's friends called him a nice man. She told us the incident happened right outside his girlfriend's home.
let them have it. We did a video on the live stream a couple weeks ago. A woman, an Umbrito woman. She was this is California. It's a similar situation, man. I just don't understand hopping on the hood of a car. I just don't get it. Now, could he have something in there like that was like very important? I don't know. There wasn't a kid in there. I just don't understand, man. Help me understand, chat. Help me understand. Especially jumping on the hood or jumping in front of a car of a guy who just like jumped in your car. Like caught you slipping in like 4 seconds. You slipped for 4 seconds and this dude made a decision that like, look, well, you know, they know they're not going to go to jail. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe people are starting to understand that these aren't really life-changing decisions that these criminals are making. See, before 2019, you'd be thinking like, man, this guy, he's crazy, man. He just jumped in my car. He's going to do some time for this. His life's going to be turned upside down. Now, like, people are thinking like, come on, dude, you ain't going to do nothing. You going to go to jail for the night at the most if they catch you and be out the next day, and then the prosecutor's going to refuse to prosecute this crime because it's such a low-level crime on their in their estimation now since 2020, since the Blackistani spring and the summer of Floyd. So he's probably like, come on, dude. This dude's not going to run me over and kill me over a crime where he'll never see a judge. He definitely ain't going to see a day in jail over this. So I'll just hop in front of the car and he'll stop and rethink it and run off and hop out and run off. Maybe that's what they're thinking. I don't know. And then the guy runs you down and kills you.
A manager at Lucky Bun's restaurant nearby said patrons inside reacted in shock after the incident, too. Police would later find Patel's car in the 1600 block of Roxana Road early this afternoon. Multiple cameras in that neighborhood also captured 2 men with the car shortly after 12. One video showed a person walking away from Patel's vehicle with a floor mat and a white bottle.
Stole his floor mats, man. They killed that guy, man. I mean, I don't know if they know they killed him, but they knew they ran over him. Just, you know, unbothered. Unbothered, man. Wow.
Multiple cameras in that neighborhood also captured 2 men with the car shortly after 12. One video showed a person walking away from Patel's vehicle with a floor mat and a white bottle. The neighbor who gave us these videos also gave them to police, saying he hoped they would help bring Patel's killer to justice. Police also released a video of their own that identifies these 2 people as suspects. The number of carjackings and auto thefts have steadily increased in D.C. the last 2 years. Earlier this year, Chief Robert Conti said there must be consequences for people who commit these crimes.
Anybody seen this guy? Any of y'all recognize this guy, man? Huh? What about this guy? Anybody recognize this guy? I don't see how they ever catch these guys, but maybe fingerprints or some kind of DNA on the steering wheel or something. I don't know.
Commit these crimes.
I think that, again, we have to make sure that we kind of follow these cases through their course to see what the measure of accountability, what does that look like?
Did you hear him? We have to follow these cases through their court to see what the measure of accountability looks like. He's the police chief. He's already spoken on this. You would be shocked if you've learned that what happened to the guy who stuck a gun in your face, pistol whipped you, threw you to the ground, grabbed your keys and ran off and drove off laughing in your car. Or the guy who put a gun in your face and made you strip and hand over all your valuables, punched you in the face and ran off laughing. You'd be surprised what happened to that guy in D.C. once he was caught. Usually, it's much less than you would think. You would be shocked. You'd be like, damn, that's all he got? Because a lot of people just assume when people get caught for certain crimes that they do a certain amount of time. Not in D.C., man. You might get 6 months, man. You only go to prison. You go to jail. You only do enough time to be sent to prison, man. And he's spoken on this many times. And you don't have to be all wokey woke and just follow the case. Like he said, that's the thing about him. He tells you follow the case. Go on one of these websites that follows the cases. There's plenty of DC Witness. A lot of DC Witness is a good one. But a lot of them they follow these cases from the status hearing to the to the trial, all throughout the case, and you would be shocked. Like murders and robberies, people getting killed during robberies by career criminals, and guys are getting probation or 2 years or 6 months. You would be shocked, man. And that's why he always uses this as a talking point. If you've seen other videos I've done from DC with this guy talking, you follow it. See what these guys are getting. He doesn't come up and say, here's the data. Follow the case. Watch. Because he knows. It's if 9 out of 10 times, he's going to be right.
I think that, again, we have to make sure that we kind of follow these cases through their course to see what the measure of accountability, what does that look like?
Now, Lorenzo, another brazen aspect to this crime. We're only about 2 to 3 blocks away from a D.C. Police Department district station.
Wow. Yeah, you got a guy here who spent his life trying to help others and just killed so brutally. This is unbelievable. John Henry, thank you.
All right, big thing in D.C. now. A major proposal before the Public Safety Committee. A long overdue rewrite of the city's crime code. Also includes measures to dramatically reduce the maximum penalties for carjacking. Yeah, you read that right. This is the problem with wokesters, okay? Once you go woke, it's all in. That's the thing about once you get in bed with a wokester, man, it's all in, man. Okay? There's no halfway with this woke stuff. There's no changing course. There's no turning about. There's no, a lot of the people you talk about sports, they're like, oh my God, you got guys playing with girls. Well, listen, man. If they have their way in 2040, the year 2040, the entire starting lineup for the WNBA All-Star game would be guys. You know what I mean? It's not just a little tinker here, because I think people get it confused. They think that, we're just going to tinker with it here and tinker with it here to make things right, make things, inclusive, and make things, fair, and change the disparities and try to, fix the, the inequality. No. It's full speed ahead with no brakes. Okay? They're trying to reduce the maximum penalties for armed carjackings in a city that's being plagued by carjackings. I mean, plagued. And I'm talking about carjackings. What happened to this doctor wasn't a carjacking. That won't be called a carjacking. When they catch those guys, if they do, that'll be called like theft or something. And like the guy died in the accident. That those guys get like 5 years tops. And that's if the prosecutor decides to prosecute them. He might not prosecute them, or he or she might not prosecute them. So, yeah, they're talking about during this time, they have the leaders in D.C. with everything on their plate. They think that something that must be done now, that can't wait, like a lot of things waiting, a lot of things that are on the back burner. This got to be handled now. We got to dramatically reduce the maximum sentences, penalties for armed carjackings. That can't wait. Other things on the agenda, other things on the docket, they got to wait. This got to be handled right now. Okay? And people aren't happy about it. Of course, I mean, obviously, but these people, most of these people are wokesters. And they realizing, oh man, wow. So you mean the woke train doesn't, you can't get off the woke train. It doesn't have any stops. The woke train don't stop the way, it just riding to infinity. There's no stop, nowhere to get off at, man. You on the woke train, man. There's nothing, no set of circumstances that'll make them reverse course. And this woman right here, I mean, she's totally woke. This woman is probably in the top 1 percentile of woke people in the nation. But even she says the D.C. Council's failure to act in its current plan to weaken existing carjacking laws are the reason why I sought help from Congress. So she's written Congress to try to like put a halt to this plan that they have in D.C. to, dramatically reduce the penalties for armed carjacking. She's written she's written a bunch of people. Senator Durbin, Ranking Member Jordan, Chairman Nadler, a bunch of congressmen. Grassley. She says, my name is Denise Krepp, and I'm a locally elected official in Washington, D.C. I'm writing to you today to request that the House and Senate Judiciary Committees direct the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia to start tracking crimes prosecuted by his office each year, and to make this information publicly available to D.C. residents. During the 6B Advisory Neighborhood Commission meeting on March 8, 2022, the U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Matthew Graves, shared that he doesn't know how many murders his office prosecuted last year. Okay? So the prosecutor in a city that's seen a spike in murders, I mean, there's murders every day. He doesn't even know how many murders he prosecuted last year. They don't know the numbers. As Flaherty used to say, they don't know the numbers. The numbers. They don't even know the numbers. They're so focused on making it easier for the criminals that they don't even think about the victims. The victims are inconsequential. The only thing they're thinking about is how we can make this easier, how we can fix these jail disparities. Why are there so many Sunmen in prison? We got to make it to where it's equal. For every one Sunman in prison, there's one glider in prison. And they got their work cut out. As you can see, brothers just jumping in cars. Like if you leave your car running, it's a 99% chance that if there's a brother around, he gonna jump in. If it's not a brother around, nobody jump in your car. But if it's a son man in the vicinity, he jumping in your car. It's 99% chance. But they still are trying to do everything they can to change the disparities in the prison system. So and he's also unaware about how many assaults, sexual assaults, were prosecuted. Violent crime has significantly increased in Washington, D.C. over the past 18 months, so I was puzzled by the prosecutor's lack of knowledge. Why didn't he have this information readily available? Additionally, why did the prosecutor imply that my request for murder and sexual assault prosecution data was burdensome? In my single-member district, there have been numerous armed carjackings, robberies, burglaries, assaults, and sexual assaults, and a murder over the past couple of years. The community simply wants to know if these crimes will and are being prosecuted. Well, I can tell you now, they're not. That's why he doesn't know anything about their focus is making the criminal justice system easier for son men criminals. They're not focused on anything but that. I think that a lot of these woke people, they're starting to wake up to that, but you have to understand, the only thing they care about is if a son man gets arrested, how is he being treated properly? Is he getting the same amount of time they perceive that someone from another race would get? What was his background? How did he grow up? Did he have a fair chance? The system against him. How can he be rehabilitated? How can his life be, saved somehow? How can they not throw his life away? They're thinking about that. They're not thinking about anything but that. So I think this woman's starting to wake up to that. I don't think it'll make a difference. I think she'll wake up tomorrow and be woken in some son man in DC or be fighting with the cops and somebody record it, and she'll be marching and protesting for that guy, some career criminal that was fighting with the cops. And that's how these wokesters do. Like they talk all this, and then the next viral video of some son man who pushed the old lady down the steps and then ran around the corner and got tackled by a cop. The next day they're tweeting about excessive force in the police department, and that cop needs to be fired. So it's hard. These people are tiresome. But anyway, he goes on and says, it's important to note that the DOJ has previously shared DC prosecution data in 2015. I submitted a Freedom of Information Act request for the information. DOJ denied my request, so I sued them for it. DOJ, after Senator Grassley inquired about my lawsuit, agreed to share it. Updated data was shared in 2017, so why isn't the same data available for public review for 2022? As the committees with jurisdiction over DOJ, I respectfully ask that you direct the U.S. Attorney for D.C. to become more knowledgeable about his office's caseload. Think about that. Think about this. She's asking Congress to direct the U.S. Attorney for D.C., the chief prosecutor up there in D.C. Congress, please direct him to become more knowledgeable about his office's caseload and more transparent with this information. Thank you for your help. Yeah, Amelia, you asked for this. You people, all you pasty libs in D.C. that are now living in a state of terror, because they're living in a state of terror. Like, make no mistakes. 2020 was kind of like, well, things are kind of getting different. It's getting sketchy here, but it's got to be the pandemic. So, well, 2021 was like, yikes. 2022 is, okay? Make no mistake about it. There's really nothing that can be done about this either, man. Like in DC, man, in a city like this, like almost an 85% single mother rate. The majority, 47%, for 46% or something like that, son population. The overwhelming majority, son people, have never had a non-son person mayor. Every single mayor in the history of DC has been a son person. Majority son city council, son police chief. He's trying though, but still son man. There's nothing you can do about this, man. And then a contingent 36% pasty liberals, virtue signaling, and there's nothing you can do about this, man. There's no way to change this, man.